Hey everybody, how's it going today? It's great to have you here. My name is Scroat, and we are checking out a new game called Hand of Fate. This just came out on Steam a few weeks ago. It had been in early access for quite some time. What this game is, this is a roguelike action RPG sort of deck builder. It's got a unique take on roguelike gameplay, which is very cool. It has really awesome action RPG combat when you do get into the combat phases. And it's just a really unique game. I've been having so much fun playing this that I thought I will throw up some episodes on the channel, and we'll see what people think if they enjoy this kind of thing. I'm just a huge roguelike guy. I've played roguelikes since they first existed with the originals like NetHack and Angband. Those games were amazing, ASCII roguelikes back in the day. So this is cool because it has just hundreds of encounters and items and armor, weapons, artifacts, and mysteries you can unlock. And it's got all of the cool, unique deck building elements of normal deck builders. Like you start with a very, very minimal deck. You don't have much of anything, and you'll see that when we first start the series here, it'll be kind of easy at first, just because we don't have a lot of cards, and they're rather easy for the dungeon layouts. But as we get more cards unlocked, and we will unlock more items, we will have much harder procedural dungeon layouts and scenarios built for us. And the whole point of the game is you want to defeat, essentially, we've got these cards, and they represent the Jack, Queen, and King of each suite. These are the bosses I'm talking about, so it'll make more sense when we get into it, but there is essentially like a set of cards with bosses, and you want to work your way through the bosses. And anyways, without further ado, I say we just kick this bad boy off and get it started. So here we go.
One more for the game. Come, sit. You have passed the 13 gates, and you come to my table to play the game of life and death. Your stake is wagered. I refuse none who come here, yet I say, turn back.
All right. So here we are, ready to start. We are beyond the 13 gates at the end of the world, and now we are here to play the game of life and death. So this is where we'll start. There will be a little bit of narration in the beginning. This guy, the dealer, he does talk a bit, but it'll really help set the scene, I think.
The game begins. One lives and one dies. Let us see what you are made of.
All right, here we go.
Here is the first member of my court, the Jack of Dust. 12 in all must fall before you may challenge me.
So yeah, this is essentially what he's saying is this is the first boss that we are going to be trying to find and kill. And so you can see the description here. This is the Jack of Dust. The bandit leader is stronger and faster than most bandits encountered. He can become enraged, making powerful, unblockable attacks. He also inspires his followers to steal gold on each hit, which totally sucks. And we'll get into some of the mechanics here soon. So to start off, we won't have a deck to build. It's very basic to begin. This music's amazing, by the way.
Let the cards fall where they may. We begin.
Okay, so here we are. They don't explain too much to get things going, but if you look over here on the left, we have gold, food, and health. So obviously, if your health hits 0, you're done. Now, food is an interesting mechanic. Every time you move one square, it will cost 1 food, but also every time you move 1 square, you will gain 5 health. Now, there will start, I guess we'll start to see different mechanics come into play where there can be curses that cause you to use more food. There can be encounters and events where you can spend food. It's a very big resource, just as important as health and as gold. And gold will be used, obviously, for bartering at shops, for trying to buy more food, for getting health, for getting blessings, for trying to remove curses. There's just so many uses for it. So to start, we only have 1 move we can make, which is moving forward 1. So this first battle here, this first dungeon we're going to be crawling across, this is sort of the tutorial, so just keep that in mind.
That first moment, that glinting weapon, the call to action, to adventure. Truly, there is nothing like it.
I may be bad and talk over this guy sometimes, but yeah, as you click on cards, if you have already discovered it, you know, you'll get to see what it is. So here we are, we're going to be going into a twisted canyon. So, and here's the description for the card. You see a weapon glinting in the sunlight lying next to a skeleton at the bottom of the canyon. And each time we encounter a new card, I'll read the text for it, but each subsequent time, you know, we won't, because we'll know what it's about. So every card presents you with challenges. So this says, the walls of the canyon are covered in thick vines, perfect for climbing. So we can either leave it and just keep moving on, or we can actually try to do this encounter, climb down and get the weapon. Everything has consequences, so you have to think about everything you want to do. So here we go. I want to climb down. And we don't want a failure. So this is where it becomes interesting as well. You have to choose the right card for your successes and chances. I think this is the failure card. Oh no, that is. Oh geez. Well, we got a success. So very carefully, you make your way to the bottom of the canyon. And because of this, because we got a success, we get to draw a weapon card. So we just got an axe. 25 damage. And here's what we're wielding. So anytime you get a weapon or item, it will ask you if you want to, you know, wield it then and there. So we're using a 20 damage axe. So absolutely, I want to upgrade.
A moment to savor. That will make you much more effective.
So let me show you the inventory.
Always review your cards here.
So here's our character. And here you go. You can see the axe we just equipped. You don't see the other axe we replaced because that's sort of like the default axe. If you have all your stuff taken away, you will have like some default equipment. So we've also got some light armor. During combat, light armor gives some protection with no penalty to speed. So no speed penalties. We can also get blessings and curses, which will all stack up here. Helms, shields, artifacts, trinkets, and gloves. So obviously we don't have much of anything going on right now. Whoops. Alright, let's get back to the game here, and we'll keep doing this little tutorial. So, Mr. Lionel.
I was never a fan of illusion or pretense. Here, I'll make an exception.
Yes. Let's see what this guy's about. So, whilst enjoying your evening meal at the local tavern, a strange old man takes the seat next to yours. He taps your shoulder quite painfully with his wooden staff to get your attention, and you notice that he appears to be a goblin, poorly disguised as a human. I don't even know how that would work. His wizened face grins at you with a hint of madness. My name is Mr. Lionel. If you give me what I need, boy, I will conjure up your heart's desire with this wizarding wand of my own creation. So here we have some options. He cackles uncontrollably for a few moments and sits patiently waiting for your answer. So I'm just going to ask him what he needs. He needs to help me, obviously. Mr. Lionel taps his staff on the ground and the shield materializes at your feet. There you go, old bean. He smiles a warm grin that reveals all of his chipped and yellowed teeth. Your face reminds me of my son. I haven't met you before, have I? Aw, his goblin son. And we got a shield.
I cannot expect you to get by without some protection.
So shields allow us to reflect attacks, or projectiles, as well as counter attacks, which is great. Now this Mr. Lionel card, it always gives you a shield. However, sometimes there are big consequences. When I was playing earlier,
you can now reflect your opponent's ranged attacks using your shield. Make good use of this skill if you wish to survive.
Yes, so like I was saying, anyways, there will be a lot of interruptions between his narration sometimes here at the start. But yeah, I had this Mr. Lionel card earlier, and normally he gives you a shield, but sometimes he'll steal something from you. And I had just gotten this amazing weapon, like this master super hammer or some such, and he stole it out of my pack to give me this piece of crap shield. Okay, so even then you can see all the cards, while you may know what they do, they can be random in their consequences. So just something to think about. So here we go, let's move up. The Maiden.
Fair Merith. I'm not surprised to find that this encounter remains vivid in your memories.
One day in a shady forest, you encounter an elf maiden. She stops to greet you, showing you her boobs. That's not what it says. I am Merith of the Forest Folk. My people have long helped the mortals of this realm. What boon would you ask of me? So this is kind of a cool card. When you get the maiden, you can ask her for one of three things. I'm going to actually get supplies. I want more food. This bread will sustain you for many days. So we get 2 random food cards, and we don't know what we'll get. We got 3 food on this card.
For that.
And 3 more. So now we have 13 food. The elders of our kind often say that we must Retread paths we once took in order to gain an advantage on the present. Farewell, mortal. Goodbye, sexy maiden. Okay, so we got one more card here on the old tutorial.
Bound once more, seeking the heart of it all.
And these are the stairs. These are the stairs down to the next dungeon level, where it will be procedurally generated. So here we go. And remember, this is the tutorial, so we're just working our way towards that Jack of Dust.
Your journey is well begun. This is what I was looking for. You show some aptitude for the game. Perhaps this will not be as boring as I thought.
Great. All right, let's move on here. So ambush. Ooh, so we're gonna have combat.
What did you think would happen with a card called ambush, eh?
Jerk. A slight rustling behind you is all the warning you get that your life is in grave danger. Oh, a rustling of jimmies, everybody. Watch out. So we draw a monster card. It's random. 2 of dust. So what this means is we are going to fight 2 bandits. That was a 6 of dust. We'd be fighting 6 bandits. So here we have combat being generated. And remember, our character, all of our cards that we have come into play to build our character up. Here we go. And this is all like...
counter your opponent's attacks. Hit the counter button when you see the flashing indicator.
Yes, so you can see our moves here. WASD to move, right-click stun, left-click attack, space to dodge roll, Q to counter. And you can only use Q, obviously, if you have a shield, which we do. So here we go. I'll try to do a counter. So when they have like these green arrows over their head, you can counter them. I'll show you. Like this. It reminds me so much of Shadows of Mordor. It's crazy. Boom. We did it. And sometimes you get good rewards for combat. This is like my favorite thing. Okay, so while searching the area for anything worth salvaging, you realize that one of your opponents is only pretending to be dead. So I'm going to kill his ass. I just don't want this failure. I'm going to try to watch the failure card. See where it goes. So this is the failure card right here. I don't want that. So sometimes it's easy to like track the card, but I noticed as you get further, the card shuffling gets really quick sometimes. It can be really tough. So we get 3 cards. Could be anything. So we get, all right, 1 piece of equipment. So here we go. We're drawing equipment out of our equipment stack.
Increasing the effect of one sort of magic with another. Ooh. All you need is a channel for power, and it's simple enough.
This is cool. Healing cap. Any healing that the player receives is doubled. Okay. All right, we get 5 food and 1 more card. 40 gold. Wow. Boom. So there you have it. So you can see here, we don't always have to go this way. Like, these are very simple layouts. Soon you'll see where there are mini cards, and sometimes they have very different routes you can take. So let's head up here. A winding trail.
An ambush. Hardly fair, is it?
Alright, suddenly a tree falls across your path, blocking the way ahead. The dealer... So here we're having 1 random monster card drawn. 3 of dust. So we can either attack the cowardly band, or we can give them all of our gold? What? Nah, man, we're going to attack. Alright, we shout the battle cry and raise our weapons. So here we're fighting 3 bandits. And I really can't wait to get past this tutorial stuff so we can get into like the real deck building. It just gets so fun once you start opening up the rest of the game. So here it's, see, we got our healing cap on there. Got our axe, got our shield. We're gonna wreck these guys, watch. It ain't gonna be no problem. I'm just gonna go in here. Ain't nobody stopping me. Look at that roll behind the guy. Boom. I apologize if you can hear me clicking like mad right now. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, it's kind of cool, like you'll, when you want to counter, you kind of press the direction plus the Q key and you'll counter that way, just like Shadows of Mordor. It's really cool. Alright, another success. And these are so easy right now. The battles get so hard later. Oh man. Alright, we get 3 more cards here. So we got a piece of equipment. Ooh, what's this?
A classical approach to dealing with crowds.
So we got an artifact here. This is Damocles. I'm not quite sure how to say that, but so during combat, if we have this artifact on, we can press the 2 key to throw knives in 8 cardinal directions. That's cool.
Artifacts provide powerful special abilities to use in combat, but it takes time to ready them.
So we got food and gold. Very cool. So let me show you real quick here, just so you guys have an understanding. So when you have an artifact, it doesn't show it here, but if you looked, see this number 9 right here? That's how many uses that artifact has before, I'm pretty sure it's done. I don't know if it recharges or not. Hey, you can see the cap we have on over here. It's on our character. I love the way everything shows up on the character. Alright, let's keep moving forward here. Alright, here it is, Jack of Dust. This is the boss.
My first champion. A good man, driven to madness by a war that took all from him. Wife and child, kith and kin. From such dark and brittle iron I forge my tools. Now we see your metal.
Alright, Jack of Dust.
This token will unlock more cards if you can defeat this encounter.
So here's how this works, so you guys know. Some cards you get will have these tokens on it, meaning the first time you successfully beat that card or conquer its encounters, you will gain the tokens associated with it, and each one of these tokens will unlock all sorts of new and interesting cards that you add to your decks. And then you'll use those to build your new decks and have brand new procedurally generated dungeon layouts and stuff built for you. It's very cool. So the other thing is, the dealer always gets to throw in his own random cards at the start of each game. So, for instance, he's probably going to draw a monster card here with the Jack of Dust. Let's see if he does. We may only be fighting the Jack of Dust. It doesn't look like he did on this one. Okay, there we go. So he pulled out a 4 of Dust. So we've got 4 bandits along with the bandit leader. Oh yeah, well, see, we're going to wreck this guy. I can already tell you. It's just going to be... But remember, every time we get hit...
Some enemy attacks cannot be blocked or countered. Get out of the way or stop them with your own counterattack.
No worries, I will. So yeah, what I was going to say is the bandit leader gives his little cronies a bunch of abilities. Like they'll steal gold from me every time they hit me. They'll be enraged. So I'm going to try to use my artifact right here. Awesome. So you know how you can counter when they have those green wavy things over their head? If those wavy things are ever red, like there, it means uncounterable. You have to get out of the way. So I'm trying to take out the bandits right now. Boom! I love that. That's actually a really cool artifact. Okay, counter. Okay, oh, we can't dodge that. Crap. Sometimes you'll get stuck in an animation, and it's just hard to move away, but we did it there. So you can see we only have... There it was, we beat it. We only have 6 uses with our Damocles card right now. And this should end the tutorial, I think.
Down into the worms with him. Perhaps there is peace for him in the grave, poor soul. One champion has been sent to the cabinet. Yet we are only at the start of our road. You will face 11 more opponents who will test your strength, your memories, and your resolve. Few fall at the first hurdle. None reach the last. We have wagered, and you have won. You may claim your rewards, yet I will also claim mine. As you improve, so do I. Balance must be retained.
Excellent. So if you notice that cabinet they opened, where they showed the Jack of Dust going, those are all the bosses that you can encounter. And for every 3 bosses you beat, or for every suite of a card, or every suit of a card you beat, they add more challenging sort of randomness to the game. So after you've beaten the first couple, it just starts getting so crazy. So here's some tokens. Here's what happens when you get tokens. You click it, and we'll get to see what we unlock. So as a reward for defeating the bandit Jack, you receive these new cards, and these are all new cards we don't have that will go into our deck. So we got the Jack of Skulls. That's like a boss card. Dead King's Hall, that's an encounter. These are all encounters to some degree. Local Peasant, Devil's Choice, River, and Captain of the Guards. And you can see each of these have tokens on them to some degree, meaning if we do things right on these, we'll get more cards, more tokens. So we got 3 tokens for that boss. So these are all item cards. Let's see what we get. Medium Armor, Chains of Rage, Mercenary Contract, that's an artifact. I believe this gives you gold every time you land a hit, which is so cool. Fortitude's Breath is a very neat shield. Desperate Measures. This is an interesting hammer. I haven't seen a lot of the items in the game, but this one's interesting in that the more life you lose, the more damage the hammer does. Alright, here's our last card. The old Fister. And new challenges. So these are 3 new challenges. We get Bandit Attack, Maze of Traps, and Goblins. So these are like guaranteed. You're either going to be fighting people or going through some sort of like puzzle-esque situation.
Shall we deal again?
Okay. So cool. So that was that. I want to show you what some of this actually looks like before we wrap up this episode. So now when we start...
Now you understand the basics, we can begin in earnest. Your hero is returned to his beginning items. Our decks are reset. Welcome to the cabinet, home of the members of my court.
So here we are. Now we are actually in the legit game. And so if we click Endless Mode is a really cool mode. We'll get to that when it unlocks. But I want to show you Story Mode. This is what we've been doing. So here's all the bosses. So you can see we beat the Jack of Dust. He was kind of the tutorial. Now we have the Jack of Skulls.
A quick glimpse at things to come.
Oops. And the Queen of Dust is who we're going to be working our way up to. So essentially for every 3 bosses you beat, you then unlock a card that adds all sorts of upgrades to the game. So for instance, once we beat these 3, we'll have stronger counterattacks, our stun will be better, we'll have better starting gear, but bandits, skeletons will be stronger, and bandits will also get throwing knives now, which adds like a whole new twist. So let's say we want to go after the Jack of Skulls. I'll show you what this kind of looks like. So you will have challenges. They add, when you go for a new boss, they inject certain cards into your deck, so you can't take them out.
Time for you to face my undead army.
So we'll build our deck here.
Jack of Skulls.
I don't want to use their recommended stuff. So this is our items deck and our encounters deck, and we have to customize these based on all the cards we have. So all the cards on the bottom are what will be coming into play, and all the cards up top are cards that we have that we can move down if we want them to potentially be a part of the game. So for instance, you know, we got this cool new weapon here. What I may do, I might add that by itself. We're at 11 to 12. I definitely want Chains of Rage. We're gonna go over a bit here. I want all the medium armor and all the good stuff. And what we're gonna take out. So you can see here we're at 16 to 12, so I need to remove four cards from our items deck. So let's take a shield out. Let's take a sword, let's take an axe. We need one more. You know what? I'm gonna take one more shield out. And I'll explain why here in just a second. Okay, so our items deck is good here. You can see once we do that, we get a check mark. We're all good. Let's go to our encounters deck. So the ones with locks, these are ones that by going after the next boss, we cannot alter these at all. Like these come with, I guess it's all part of the challenge, essentially, and these as well. So Mr. Lionel's the great one. He's the one, if we get him, we'll get a shield. And it's better to get him early. And what I want to do, so all these that say new, check this out. When you click on one of these, whoops. Oh no, I'm really messing up here. If we right click on one of these, you can see here we don't get to know about it. We don't get to know anything about it because we haven't encountered it yet. So I want to put all these new ones in there so we have a chance for them. And I want to take out a few. Especially ones that have tokens. It's always good to try and get those tokens. Let's get Ambush out of there, Winding Trail, and Dead Man's Gorge. At least to start. You know, we just don't have that many cards, but pretty soon we're going to have so many cards. It's going to be ridiculous. Like, building your deck just gets pretty hard. Alright, let's move back here. And so there we have it. That is essentially what deck building is like. So now what I could do if I wanted is come up here and we could start the game. So this is where we're going to be stopping this episode. I essentially wanted to just show you guys what the basics of the game looked like with the deck building and how the card layout works. You really will get a better taste of the game when we start the next episode, where you'll get to see the dealer adding in all of his random cards and creating the random layouts, and then we'll really be at it, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. It gets so difficult. So yeah, hey, we'll stop this one here. We'll kick the next one off right where this one is, and we'll just keep rolling. And I look forward to having you guys there. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you know, may like this kind of game. Let me know if you do. I'm all for roguelikes. I love them. So you know, we may do this for 5 or 10 episodes or something, or we may just keep it running alongside RoboCraft.
Take your time if you like. I've waited long enough.
He's talking in the background. Anyways, yeah, we'll see where this stuff pans out. So you guys have a great day, take it easy, and stay classy.